Thomas J. Stanley, author of the New York Times bestseller, The Millionaire Next Door, said, "Before you can become a millionaire, you must learn to think like one." We totally agree. But more importantly, you should know how to act like one. You see, there are certain behaviors that you can adopt to increase your chances of becoming rich. The behaviors in question are actually skills that are common amongst all rich folk. If you polish them up, perhaps you could be the next millionaire in your family. From time management to overcoming instant gratification, there's a lot to unpack here. Welcome back to Mouth of Money. Today, we'll be talking about 7 additional proven skills that'll make you rich. This is part 2 of our 2-part series, a continuation of part 1. Do make sure to check it out in the link description below because we discuss skills that even well-established companies like Disney use on a regular basis. Without further ado, let's get this thing going with. Number 1, time management. Although you can get more money, you can never get more time. We all have been given limited time on this planet, and if we don't use it efficiently, we'll never be able to succeed. More often than not, one of the major differences between the success of a rich person and a poor person is how they manage their time. Think about it. We all have 24 hours in a day, right? So how is it that some people are able to get more out of their hours and earn a lot more than others? Through proper time management. The sad reality is that many of us waste a lot of time throughout our day, either mindlessly scrolling through social media or just binge watching the latest trendy TV show. Even if we work a 9 to 5, get a proper 8 hours of sleep, and exclude 5 to 6 hours that might go to daily chores or activities, we're still left with 1 to 2 hours. Doing something productive even an hour a day can get you quite far, but what's even better is to try and utilize most of the 24 hours in an effective manner. This can be done by designating blocks throughout your day for each of your tasks. Doing so will allow you to stay focused on a particular task. Alternatively, you can start off your day with the most important tasks, ensuring that no day goes to waste. Another good technique you can implement is themed days, where you strategically spend certain days dedicating your efforts to one single thing. If you've ever wondered how Elon Musk manages to run $2 billion companies at once, well, this is it. He works at SpaceX on Monday and Tuesday, then at Tesla on Wednesday and Thursday, returning to SpaceX on Friday. He basically applies the themed days concept to his own schedule. This technique is also quite effective, as it helps to avoid multitasking, allowing you to stay more productive and make greater progress in a short amount of time, like if you wanted to learn how to code or build a personal brand. Time management is indeed a fundamental skill, but knowing what to spend your time on is equally important. That's why another skill that you'll need to have is number 2. Focusing on high-value activities. Let's say you own a business. What will make better sense of your time to do? Spend lots of hours sorting through your emails or attending 6 to 8 meetings with potential clients a week to close deals. Close those deals, am I right? Well, that's what focusing on high-value activities is all about. Any activity that gets you closer to achieving either your personal or business goals is a high-value activity. This requires you to understand the true value of your time and dedicate your focus and effort towards tasks that'll help you progress further. But of course, there'll always be the tiny mundane things that need to be taken care of on a regular basis, or perhaps there might be tasks that just simply aren't suited for you. If you put effort into these tasks, you'll lose more time than what you'd gain. What you need to realize in moments like these is that there is always someone else out there whom you can delegate your work to. Because at the end of the day, you're not expected to do it all by yourself. This is something that the rich do quite often. If someone as highly functional as Batman could need a butler, then perhaps so will you. Number 3, learning to sacrifice. This is a big one. On the path to becoming rich, you will have to make many sacrifices, whether it be giving up weekends, not attending family gatherings to work on a side hustle, or living below your means to save up money. You're going to have to sacrifice in some sort of way. As Dave Ramsey said, the most important decision about your goals is not what you're willing to do to achieve them, but what you're willing to give up. Say goodbye to spending hours on the couch playing video games, or all those late night outs. because you need to spend your time making progress on your goals. That's not to say you should make your life totally miserable by giving up everything. You just need to cut down enough to increase your productivity. Learning to sacrifice can be tough, but suppose you begin slowly by simply giving up a few minutes of TV or social media per day. In that case, you will eventually get in the habit of it. Just make sure you don't overdo it and burn yourself out. Another skill that ties nicely with sacrificing is number 4, overcoming instant gratification. Technological advancements have made our lives so much easier. We're able to get almost anything instantly with the use of our phones and the internet. Want to buy new clothes or items? Online shopping. Want to immerse yourself within an entertaining movie or show? There's Netflix and Hulu for that. With an increase in competition, the service that can serve its customers the fastest and retain their attention tends to succeed. But the harsh reality of that is that it has spoiled us. We've become impatient to the point where if a website takes even a split second to load, we lose interest and hit the back button. As a result of this, we've grown accustomed to making decisions on impulse. This often leads us to either make quick purchases or decisions that may feel rewarding at the time, but could be detrimental in the future. So, how do we avoid all of this? By overcoming instant gratification and adapting to delayed gratification. Let me explain. The textbook definition of delayed gratification is the resistance to the temptation of an immediate pleasure in the hope of obtaining a valuable and long-lasting reward in the long term. This concept is the backbone of many positive changes. You may have decided to skip that delicious cake to lose weight, or avoid buying that new iPhone to invest in your business. These actions will lead to a reward later on, such as getting an amazing physique or potentially increasing your business's revenue. The rich realize the importance of delayed gratification all too well. That's why you often hear many millionaires living below their means to ensure the success of their business. They'd rather sacrifice the temporary pleasure for something greater in the future. As Brian Tracy said, the ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in the short term to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success. Cultivating all these skills will definitely take time, but if you dedicate yourself, then you will certainly get there. If you found any of these skills useful so far, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on tips in the future for becoming rich. Moving on to number 5. Learning from others. It feels amazing to accomplish your goals and get closer to the top all on your own. But if you truly want to be rich and successful, you've got to learn from others. In fact, that's how we, as humans, advance in any aspect of life. Decades of research and science have led us to the innovations that we have today. If we chose to ignore everything that our ancestors had learned, we would have had to start from scratch all over. That's no different for becoming rich. Although the paths do vary for individuals, the principles remain the same. That's why you need to spend time learning from those who have made it and become rich. It will allow you to save a lot of time and avoid the mistakes that many of them might have made in their ventures. A great way to learn from others is through reading. Books are an amazing resource in which the author has condensed hours, sometimes even lifetimes, of experiences into one book that you can read and analyze thoroughly. Alternatively, you can find mentors in the same space that you're trying to succeed in by interacting with them on a coaching call or webinar. Unlike with books, you'll get live feedback from them that's tailored to your own situation. Getting a good mentor may not be easy, especially in the age of so-called gurus. But if you do find one, you've likely struck gold. Number 6, adapting to changes. The thing is, in the world of business, you will have to adapt to changes quite often. Whether it be a new disruptive model or a shift in the market's interest, there are going to be factors that you might have not foreseen. Take cryptocurrencies and NFTs as an example. Could anyone have predicted the huge rise in the price of Bitcoin? Or that people buying digital artwork for up to $60 million would become a thing? It all seems odd initially, but those who get in on the latest trends quickly by adapting to them are the ones that succeed. A great example of this is Mark Zuckerberg. The internet was still sort of a wild west in the early 2000s. but Mark had adapted to the technologies which allowed him to get in early on developing social media platforms, resulting in the emergence of Facebook. And even now, he's managed to adapt to the concept of the metaverse, leading to a total brand makeover. Certainly a smart move on Facebook, now also known as Meta. And lastly, number 7, the ability to think big. Your goals and ambitions are limited by your imagination. If you don't think big, you will never accomplish anything of magnitude. Simple as that. As Richard Branson advocated that, if people aren't calling you crazy, you aren't thinking big enough. When you open up to the idea of dreaming big, you'll become more receptive to trying greater things and taking bigger risks. This will allow you to overcome the fear of failure. Failure will only seem like a small price in comparison to the big dream that you have. In general, thinking big is a pivotal shift in your mindset, allowing you to push yourself further than what you might have if you kept your expectations small. The road to becoming rich is not one for the faint of heart. You will try, and you will fail. But if you stick with it for long enough by weathering the storm, you will increase the probability of you becoming rich. With that being said, what skills do you think are the most important to have on this list? And the list from part 1, assuming you've watched that video, of course. Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, like and subscribe as we'll continue to share the best methods out there to improve your financial life. Until next time.